Okay, I know you all want to know. My name's Robert Kennedy. Am I related to the more famous Kennedys from the United States? I am not, just so you know. They are Catholic. My family is Protestant. We have nothing to do with those folks. So, get that out of the way. I want to ask a question back to you guys. Anybody can answer. A motor vehicle, a car, why does it have brakes? Stop. Why does it need to stop? Get out of the car. I say a motor vehicle needs brakes so it can go fast. The only way a car could go fast is if it has brakes to stop it. Why do I ask that? Security is like brakes. The only way that organizations can innovate is if they have good security. The only way they could take their IT systems and expose it to their end users, to their customers, is if they have good security. The only way they can build out mobile deployments of their IT applications is to have good securities. So that's why I use innovation in the title here. we think at IBM that a big part of helping customers secure themselves properly is to allow those organizations to innovate. So security has got to be something that actually does secure the IT environment, but doesn't get in the way of organizations' innovation. So that's one of my themes and my comments in the next few moments. Simple show of hands. Any show of hand, you're here, I suppose, because you want to know more about what IBM is doing. Show of hands of people who had no idea that IBM did anything in security. Okay, so you all knew that. That's good. I guess our marketing has been going well. We are one of the largest suppliers of security software and solutions worldwide. There's really nobody else that has the breadth and depth of solutions as we have. It's been a journey of about 20 years of acquisitions and integrations of solutions, but I'm going to show you in a few moments something we call our security immune system, and I will challenge any other supplier to be able to show that kind of depth. And I think that's really important. The bad actors out there are collaborating. The bad actors are talking to each other. The bad actors are building very sophisticated attacks. As a customer who's trying to protect your assets, you also need to collaborate. You also need to have sophisticated defenses. And I think that's where the depth and breadth of what IBM has to offer can really help you out. So I'm going to spend a few minutes kind of going through that. Security is not just innovation, of course. Security is compliance. And I know that you're all here about GDPR, and IBM can help you on your GDPR compliance journey and all the other regulations that you have to talk about. I think you know most of this. I'm going to pass through this pretty quickly. In 2020, there's going to be 20.8 billion things of various kinds that are connected to the internet that need to be secured. 5 billion personal data records will be stolen by 2020, $8 trillion lost to cyberspace. GDPR fines can cost billions of dollars. We think there's going to be 1.8 million unfulfilled cybersecurity positions that companies are going to have to find ways to deal with that fact and deal with solutions that can obviate some of the need for all of that. We think organizations are using too many tools from too many vendors. A good security system has got to work together. You've got to be able to understand what's going on across the enterprise and be able to make holistic enterprise decisions. A single tool is not enough for anything, whether you're protecting data or protecting a network or protecting an application or whatever it might be. Just kind of a brief history of security. Maybe it actually started out before this, but organizations bought tools. They put some kind of defense in place, kind of like protecting a castle, putting a moat in, putting in those spiky things on the top of the wall, various kinds of things. As companies did more of that, we called that a layer of defense. We think that's still a very important part. There's no silver bullet to any of this. You have to think about multiple kinds of things. But just having a whole bunch of different security tools in place is not enough. So in the last few years with SIM products like IBM QRadar, we have helped organizations start to take those various layers of defense and have them talk to each other and have them work together and have them be able to put together a more coherent defense against the very sophisticated attacks that the bad actors are doing. That's been a maturing thing over the past few years, and that's great. We think the next part of that, though, is thinking about it in a cognitive way, thinking about cloud both as a place for you to deploy your applications and also a place for you to get security services from. We think collaboration is very important. As I mentioned a moment ago, the bad actors are collaborating. You need to collaborate. It's very hard, though, to collaborate with all that wealth of information that's out there. How do you deal with all of the information, all of the different kinds of new attack vectors that the bad actors are going through? That's where cognitive abilities come into play. And yes, I'm going to say the word. I'm an IBMer. We're going to talk about Watson. Watson can help. And I think Watson is a particularly interesting technology for security. Because as I said, there's so much information out there. It's a moving target. It's changing. No security analyst on the planet, no matter how smart they are, no matter how much time they read, are going to be able to know everything about the latest security attacks. That's where Watson technology that can essentially scour the world for everything that's been printed or put online or in a picture or anything about security can gather that information and help you make better decisions about how to properly secure your environment. So we think this is sort of the next wave of it, and that's something I think we can really bring to the table that's unique. So cognitive is, a few things to think about. What if you could accelerate what analysts do each day? Investigate threats faster, be more accurate, interpret unstructured data. This is the kind of thing that a cognitive approach with Watson technology can bring to the table for you. Allow you to stay ahead of what the bad actors are doing. Cloud, as I talked about. Cloud means lots of stuff to all of us. As an IBMer who's been around a long time, and I did a session earlier in the day about the IBM mainframe, which was invented back in 1964. The IBM mainframe in 1964 was really the original cloud computing environment. So we have a lot of experience with that. But we know that cloud's important. We know that cloud is an opportunity for you guys to innovate, is an opportunity for you to lower your cost of computing by taking advantage of cloud service providers, of which IBM is one, to be able to start building out and deploying new workloads in a more cost-effective way. We think that consuming security from the cloud is also incredibly important. Because the bad actors are working so quickly, how can any of us as vendors keep on-premises software up to date? So we think that cloud-based security solutions, security as a service, so to speak, is really the right way for you guys to stay on top of what the latest security threats are and be able to protect your IT environments appropriately. Collaboration. We think that you guys ought to be able to effectively work together as it makes sense, be able to effectively get knowledge from all the security professionals worldwide. So with our X-Force division and X-Force Exchange, we're doing exactly that. We're giving you great opportunities to be able to find out what the latest security threats are and be able to kind of learn from the world about how to address things that come up in your environment, either to address actual attacks you might have, but to protect yourself from vulnerabilities. So we built out a lot of capabilities in the X-Force Exchange and in the IBM Security App Exchange to allow you to share your ideas with others and be able to gain knowledge from others to help more effectively secure your environments. Now, I'm not going to go through every one of these, but you can look through some of these and I think you'll recognize them. I suspect that some of you in this room have some responsibilities for certain kinds of aspects here. whether it be fraud protection or access management or application scanning. But I'm showing this because these are all the kinds of things that we think U.S. customers need to think about as you can think about properly securing an environment. And there's all kinds of ways to do each one of these pretty darn well. But how do you think about what they all mean to each other? Again, that's where I think IBM can really help. What we've done is taken all of this and put together what we call our security intelligence immune system. So we think about threat intelligence, network security, fraud protection, identity and access management, data security, application security, mobile security, endpoint security, and have it all work together and all orchestrated and do the right kind of analytics to really think about securing an environment in a much more holistic way than just a set of tools. And, as you might expect, we have a set of solutions that cover every one of these aspects. So, QRadar with the Watson Advisor for orchestration and analytics, TrustEar for fraud protection, AppScan and App Security on Cloud for securing your applications, BigFix for patching and managing your endpoints. I won't go through every one of these. But we have a mature set of solutions, mostly market leading, in every one of these areas. And again, as I mentioned a moment ago, I challenge anybody else to really bring this all to the table like this. Now, we don't think we have all the answers. We have a great set of solutions. If you want to do it from us, whether it be software, whether the software I've described or services that might come with it, you can do that. But we have built out a partner ecosystem, including DSS, to help you guys succeed in your journey in properly securing your environments. That's where the App Exchange, that's where our integrations, that's where our APIs come into place. We do a lot of work to allow to work together with a lot of other vendors. I have a PC and a Lenovo ThinkPad that IBM gives to me. Do I have IBM antivirus on there? No, I don't. I have Symantec. We don't do it all, but we like to. I have an iPad, and we all use F5 as our VPN on that iPad. So we work with a lot of other vendors. We think we've got an incredibly robust and deep set of solutions, but we don't do it all. So broad strokes. We want to help you build a cognitive security operations center. We want to give you the ability to be able to uncover new insights, hunt for threats before they've happened, orchestrate your responses to the threats that you're seeing that maybe have turned into breaches or maybe haven't, either are potential breaches or could be breaches. We want to give you the abilities to share your threat intelligence so that if you see something new, you can report it, or you can find out who's been doing it first. IBM not only has a set of solutions to help you out, but we run security operations centers all over the world for organizations. So we're in a position to be kind of at the front line of defense to see the new threats that are coming. So when new threats come in other parts of the world, we can then apply that to helping our current customers avoid being breached because of those threats. Not going to go through all of these, but again, the IBM Curator Advisor with Watson is what allows us to take advantage of the cognitive capabilities of Watson. So Curator can be running either as a cloud-based implementation, Curator on cloud, or on premises, and be able to analyze the kinds of things that are going on in your environment, and then go ask Watson questions to figure out whether they're threats or whether they're things they ought to be dealing with. And so that's we don't know. None of your data is Watson doesn't know or keep it at all. It's just there to answer questions. And so the Curator Advisor knows the kind of questions based upon what it's seeing in your environment, and then ask Watson what to do about it, and Watson comes back with the answers. So we're having, for example, Watson will be looking at 2.3 million security documents, 80,000 new documents read per day, 10 billion security data elements, 250,000 investigations enhanced. So the kind of thing that you can't do on your own, the kind of thing that simple software can't do on our own, it's the cognitive capabilities of Watson that come into play. We've taken it farther and start to do user behavior analysis. Start to notice when maybe your privileged users are starting to do things that maybe aren't consistent with what they've done in the past. A database administrator suddenly working at very different hours off of IP addresses that are maybe in other parts of the world and starting to do database dumps or starting to take action. So part of what we're doing, you know, we want to help you comply with your regulations. We want to help you deal with breaches as they happen. We want to help you prevent breaches from happening. And part of preventing breaches is starting to predict what breaches might come along. So QRadar user behavior analytics starts to build profiles of your high value end users and start to notice when they're doing things that are differently that might be leading up to a threat and prevent it from happening in the first place. IBM Resilient Incident Response. Okay, you can have the best security intelligence in the world and it tells you things to do. And what do you do with that? Send out an email to somebody? You know, spit out a report for somebody to look at? Resilient Incident Response is all about orchestrating the proper human actions based upon security events. So Resilient Incident Response kind of knows all the compliance rules that you have to follow, knows all the recommended actions, and sort of is a project management system, but with the intelligence of security and the intelligence of compliance, to help you kind of do the right thing based upon what you've learned from your reporting systems and your analysis and monitoring systems. So that's another big part of the higher level equation. Security App Exchange, as I talked about, it's a place for us to sort of put out new. Think of the iPhone. Think of your iPhone App Store or Google Play. It's a place to start to put new technologies out for customers to take advantage of. We use it ourselves for emerging technologies, and we have a lot of vendors that are putting out add-ons to IBM products to make them work even better. X-Force Exchange, we're gathering threat intelligence from all over the world, and we're sharing that and making it available to you, allowing you to ask questions yourself and to also share your knowledge with others to prevent things from happening. I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is kind of all the things we do to help you with your SOC. And so a broad set of solutions. QRadar I've spoken about. I've talked about Resilient, but things like Big Fix for taking care of all of your endpoints. Things like okay, so we covered. I2 kind of gets more into additional behavior analysis, why bad things are starting to happen. So pretty wide range of capabilities. Now, a good SOC in kind of protecting the perimeter is a big part of it, but we think there's more to it than that. We want to help you take control of your digital risks, allow you to safely and securely move workloads to the cloud, allow you to eliminate passwords with new authentication capabilities, allow you to build secure applications that are hard to break through, and to protect your data, whatever it is, and provide privacy around that. So things like Cloud Identity Service, we have a whole set of cloud identity tools. As you think about using cloud-based services, whether it be the Dropboxes of the world or Salesforces or Office 365, then access and identity management can become really, really complicated. As your end users are starting to implement what we call shadow IT, starting to take advantage of cloud-based services without necessarily telling the main IT environment, all that access management just starts to explode as everybody's got their own, every cloud service has got their own identity and access requirements. And so our cloud identity solutions really help with that and allow you to have single sign-on. Whenever I, as an IBMer, will go access all kinds of services, many of which aren't really provided by IBM, whether it be Office 365 or whether it be our travel reservation system, all kinds of systems. I go to log in, it says, oh, you're an IBMer, intercepts it, asks for my normal IBM, what we call our intranet credentials, and then that's all I really have to remember, and that takes care of it from there. So a lot of efficiencies and a lot more security and a lot less login IDs and passwords to keep track of. Our new IBM Verify essentially allows you to bring multi-factor authentication in. Hopefully you all know what multi-factor authentication is. It's any time where you're asked for more than just your password. You go into a system that you haven't logged in for a while, and it says, I need to send a text to this phone number to verify that you are who you are. And so IBM Verify, working on iOS and Android and other systems, gives you ways to introduce multi-factor authentication to the applications that you are particularly concerned about. IBM Mass 360. Mass 360 helps you with provide security and proper device management of all of the mobile devices that you and your employees are accessing, whether they be devices that have been issued by you or whether it's BYOD kinds of devices. At IBM, if I want to connect to the IBM network, either with an iPhone that they've given me or with my own iPhone, I have to install Mass 360, and that's going to be there to make sure that I'm using the system properly, that I'm not letting malware get onto my system that can touch that. And in order to do that all effectively, it's again using Watson technology to be smarter about making sure that it's not allowing bad things to come onto company-connected devices. IBM Trusteer, mostly focused on the financial institutions. It's all about preventing fraud. It's all about identifying that devices have been hijacked, or identifying authentication that's been hijacked by bad actors, and prevent it from causing bad things in your environment. Because a lot of this kind of thing, it's, if you've got the credentials, then you can get through all the security, you can get through all the encryption that's out there, but should you have those credentials? And that's where Trusteer comes into place to kind of prevent that kind of fraud that can happen. IBM Security Guardium, all about protecting your databases on any platform known to mankind, monitoring those databases, analyzing those databases for potential vulnerabilities, because ultimately at the end of the day, I think what's in your databases is what you care about the most. That's why all your systems are in place. And so Guardian can help to further protect that and further monitor that. So all of these things can help enterprise level IT, can help your CISO, can help your line of business with all these things that we've talked about, and I really just scratched the surface on these. We have a broad set of services that we can offer to customers. I'm not going to spend any more time about it because I know you've got good local suppliers like DSS that can help on that, and we can help them be successful. But we have those kind of things. I'm not going to go through all that. How did we get here from being somebody who hadn't really done it? Well, we started with security 50 years ago when we introduced the IBM mainframe. But really, starting about 2002, we started a set of acquisitions that led us, and we've continued to do that. We formed our business unit in 2012 or 13, I think, actually. But we continue to grow out our capabilities, to further address all of those aspects of the immune system. And we think all this is not just checking the box. This is not just buying stuff just because we think they're good revenue streams for us. We've taken them in, we've IBMized them, we've integrated them, we make sure they work together as part of that larger immune system. Across the board with the various analysts, it's not just a collection of medium-grade products. In most situations, we are market leaders with the analysts in all of these areas, whether it be SIEM or endpoint or identity governance, data security. We really are a market leader in a broad class. So I think we have the broadest, the deepest, and the best, I think, of the kind of solutions that you might be looking at. Fastest growing vendor fastest growing of the top 5 vendors, 8,000 plus employees, over 17,000 customers worldwide, 133 countries, over 3,500 patents and 20 acquisitions since 2002. So that was a lot. I just gave you a 50,000-foot view, but I hope maybe I piqued your interest that almost anything you need to properly secure your IT environment, IBM can help. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Robert. Any questions? Any questions? Is there a question, sir? Yeah? Okay. So there's the microphone. Yeah, just grab it.
Hello? Do you hear me? Okay, so obviously, most of your products are good and they fill their market kind of share. But I personally do not believe very much in security as a service, because I think that security cannot be like a bolt-on thing you just think about afterwards. It must be built into the core business or core services of companies.
Okay. Fair.
So
Fair
many
comment.
of your products actually target this area, but many others, I mean, security as a cloud, I mean, is it just marketing, or what's your thoughts about basically building in security as opposed to actually using some products to think about security afterwards?
I understand the question. I'm going to see how easy it's going to be for me to get back to. First off, I understand your point of view. I'll respectfully disagree with some of it, because I do think that security is changing. The threats are changing so quickly that it's hard for on-premises solutions to keep up with that. But all that said, of all the things that we have to offer, Mass 360 and Trusteer are the only solutions that are only available as a service. Everything else, things like QRadar, things like AppScan, you can install, you can implement it either on premises or as a service. So while we think that's a good way to go, we're not going to lock you into that. Even products like QRadar that can run on the cloud, we still have to have a data collector running on the running on premises to get that data and do something with it. So hopefully we're kind of giving you flexibility. But if you wanted a mobile device management system and you didn't want it to be on the cloud, then I'll send you to someplace else. So those are a couple of examples of that.
Thank you.
Okay? Good question.
Right. Let us thank Robert. By the way, Robert will be in a panel starting from approximately 5 p.m., where one of the questions I will try to tackle is, of course, the artificial intelligence as one of the key players tomorrow to fight cybersecurity issues. You know, we watch Watson, we watch it grow, we watch it get, smarter. Now, the big question is what people expect from that. But just a teaser sentence, because that will be
Sounds
in a
good.
panel.
Okay. Thanks, Renas.
Right. And by the way, here's a nice little souvenir from the organizers. Thank you so much for your keynote. Okay. Robert?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.